it is what it is.
Okay. You got, so I just get that on your wall right now?
Yeah, that should just be on the wall right now. So, let me adjust this a little bit. There's.
Oh, there it is. You just tagged me in it.
Yep. Yes, sir. Hold the tag up. Yes, we're on another episode of Candid Conversations. How you doing today? Today's guest, decked out in my favorite team's apparel.
Hey.
AJ Jorritsma.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Oh, man. It's good. How y'all doing out there in TV land? Actually, no, internet land. Not even TV anymore. I remember, I actually don't watch TV that often now.
I don't think anybody does.
No, it's everything on the phone or on a tablet or on a computer.
Yeah, I don't even have a TV in my room right now. I just watch on my phone.
Do you remember those two TVs? I just got rid of, I have two of them left in the house. I got rid of one of them because it was up there, but I couldn't connect my computer to it, so it just sat there. It's like, oh, that's some nostalgia.
I remember when the TVs became the TV stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got the new TV. The old TV ended up being what you put it on.
Yep. Oh, my gosh. These TVs are so easy to lift. You're not throwing out your back or anything.
Yeah. That's why the other one just left there. It was too heavy.
Yeah, no.
They didn't move it. It became furniture.
Guaranteed. The TV, if you see the TV in my daughter's room, that's staying here when I'm done.
Yeah. It's not coming with you.
It's 42 inches, but at the same time,
the window, it's not coming.
No. It's that tube is just serious.
That just made me think about it. I wonder what it's like for the people. When they joke about people stealing TVs. Back in the day, they had their work cut out for them. They earn it. They had to go to their house, and then they got to get this thing, and they got to get a friend on the other side. Then they're doing the Family Guy twist, turn it this way.
The shift.
They deserved it more. Nowadays, they got it too easy. It's just
boom. Here he goes.
The wall mount and they're gone, right?
Yeah.
Take the wall mount with it.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you got it.
Savage.
If you take a TV, make sure you take the wall mount. That's the main thing we want to get across today.
Nowadays, you need power tools to hijack stuff. Back in the day, people were so lazy, but it's like the internet's made people smarter, but also allowed for dumber things to happen at the same time.
And you know what it's really done is it's allowed all the dumb people to find each other. That's the big problem. You know what I mean? Because before I said, you knew that dumb kid in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And now he's got a whole group full of people. They got a group chat going where they converse and they get together.
Yep.
And that's our big issue right now.
That is. Oh my gosh, man! I'm telling you, it's great. Like those flash mobs. Those are that's some good entertainment right there. That's one of the things that's that happens out here. But jeez.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
I want to be a part of one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Sign me up. The first time I seen it, I was like, "Oh, cool! Look at this! Some random thing at a mall." And then I was like, "Wait a minute! No, this is our mall. This is the shitty little mall that I got kicked out of for stealing when I was 12."
Oh man,
it's dope.
Yeah, man, that was
things.
It's serious.
Anything that brings people together, I support it.
All about that.
And any form of music, any form of anything. If people hey, we're doing this, I want support. I'm there every time.
All day.
Especially if you're bringing people together to do it. Right? If that's the name of the game, then I'm part of it.
I'm challenging. I don't even know who my team is. I think I found an alternate goalie for my team, but I'm challenging the artists of Niagara region to either a 3-on-3 or a 5-on-5 hockey game.
I'm going to take that one step further because in the Beast Mode group, I see a lot of guys talking about challenging us. So
really?
I could potentially get people from out of town coming down to take on the region.
So let's Niagara versus everybody. Let's do it.
The Barry boys were talking pretty confident. All the Lindsay brothers from Beast Mode, they were talking pretty confident. So let's see them down here. I know Jo's interested. He's a Niagara boy. We got a solid team. We could put together some very solid teams.
So let's do this,
let's
man.
Bring them out. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm down for the inter-regional stuff.
Yeah.
But let's get people from outside.
Yes, let's use the inter-regional stuff as a house league and show them that we're serious, and then from the inter-regional stuff, we'll develop it and then make it something where Toronto, Mississauga, Barrie's all coming down. You know what? That's it. As soon as this quarantine, this COVID business is over, that should be our goal.
Well, not to mention, dude, look at ball hockey Welland. As far as I know, they haven't started anything new there yet. Do you know what I mean? I bet you it'd be something very simple to literally go book that thing for the entire day right now for next to nothing. You got double sides, full floor. You know what I mean?
All about
take it to the next level.
Let's make that happen.
A community thing too, right? If you can make it a community thing where somehow we make it a way for the community to profit. Everybody chip in a couple bucks here and there.
You know what I mean? Potluck.
Then it goes even better.
Potluck funding. When everybody pitches, it's a lot easier for 5 people to make $1,000 than it is for one person. You know what I mean? So we gotta get that mentality. We gotta stop. You're right. We gotta stop the crab in the bucket business, and we gotta start. You know what I mean? prowling. We got to start a prowl.
When you see the people like every day, anybody who's ever tried to do something music related or community related, and I've done this many times. You run into it so much where you find these people that are so personal. They're about them,
yep.
And it's like it's so disheartening because it's like again and again I keep trying to pursue things, and it's really it sucks when you don't see that return. You don't see people. That are like, yeah, let me do that. Yeah, I've had guys I reached out to, like even like regional guys. They talk to me about wanting to get paid for this charity shows and stuff like that. It's like, guys, like let's do something for each other with each other.
Charity?
Yeah. Or the best was the Young Stitch contest, right? Dope contest, everyone entered.
Yeah.
I hit up this one guy on there, really solid artist. I like this stuff. I thought, me and this guy would mesh very well together.
Yeah.
So I hit him up, and he says, "Oh, thanks a lot for the compliment. So as far as business goes, it's $300." Like, I'm not trying to pay you $300 to work with you. So, I mean, show me where those numbers come from.
Let's work together. Like,
I thought, hey, I'll pay for, by all means, since I'm reaching out to you, I'll pay for the editing, the everything. I'll pay for your studio time, even maybe something like that.
You're better than me.
That's better than me. You send me you send me your raw. I take care of the editing, the master, and everything like that. Okay. Sure, right? That's fair to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you come out of pocket to work with me unless you hear my stuff and like it.
Yeah.
But this guy was just like, right to business, and it's like, dude, you're not going to get any business like that, even if you were worth the money. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like, he's trying to charge me $300. I probably could have got a verse from fucking Young Stitch for just over that. You know what I mean? Like,
I used to work with the people in this camp. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at, and that's the thing. Like, I know people from Toronto who will come down just because I asked them to. You know what I mean? Out of respect for me and what I'm doing, for what I've done, or whatever. I
went up to Toronto the other day for the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'm talking to people in the region who don't realize my connections extend that far, and they're just like, "Oh no, you got to drop me $5 for me to show up."
Yeah. There's a 0% chance of that happening.
Like, can I buy you a drink? Maybe smoke you a blunt, talk politics for a little bit, send some people your way, get you a little bit more publicity.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, every extra person that I show to you is another thing. Yeah. And I'm not saying you haven't done, like, in your world, in your realm of life, you've done that work. More power to you. Yeah. But our universes are just meeting. You know what I mean? Right, yeah. So, like, we have to establish a foundation as to, like,
that's the thing I was going to get at right about that is, like, the network aspect, right? It's like, let's meet up first. Let's do this shit. Let's talk. Let's see, you know what I mean? Like, and that's where it's like, I'd like to see community aspect. Of course, everybody wants it to eventually be somewhat of a business. Of course. People want to get paid for their efforts. People want it, and that makes sense to me. But it's just when you see these guys come out, and it's like that guy, for instance, I don't remember his name anymore. I'll never do a song with him. It might have been a dope track, might have worked into something cool. He might have met people through me. I might have met people through him, but he just turned it into something right away where it's like, I don't have any interest in pursuing that with you.
No, and that's one thing. People don't understand. Like, money only has so much value. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it only you can only do so much with money. And, like, there's a lot of people who don't see, like, who need to see the value in the interaction kind of thing. It's like, you don't know who I know. I don't know who you know. I just said, hey, you know what?
At this point, that's where we're all at. When you think about it.
Yeah.
None of us are, if you're not pushing huge numbers, if you can't, like, okay, if you get 100,000 views on every project you drop, then I'll throw you some money to work with you by all means.
Makes sense.
If you're going to expose me to a whole new bracket of people. But at this point, we're all pretty much, people around this area and whatnot. Artists. We're at the stage of, I help you, you help me. You get my people, I get your people. People like you because now they heard you on my track.
People
and
like
versa.
You because they heard you on mine. Yeah.
Right now, we're basically in the cross promotion stages. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you have like I said with that guy, like show me where I get my money out of that. Like, show me where I get my value. Especially if I'm going to be taking on the expenses of the project itself.
Exactly.
Now all of a sudden I'm in $600.
Now he does.
I'm going to get what 100. We're going to get 1,000 views. Unless I put some money into advertising,
which is more money on you.
Like, and then I just did all. I was like, here, you want a gift? Like, let me just go through every rapper I've ever had friend me on Facebook and send them a bunch of fucking free opportunities.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, you gotta have it doesn't matter what you're doing. You have to have a degree of pro bono in your catalog. You know what I mean? You have to be willing, and you also have to have shrink. You know what I mean? You have to have that, okay, you know what, that guy's an asshole, I did a track with him, that's not going to go anywhere, whatever. You know what I mean? That's shrink. You can't, you can account for like maybe 5-10 tracks that nothing happens to. Or then you got to look at it like, okay, but you have to be willing to do some stuff for free because that free track could lead you to another producer. You know what I mean? That producer could make you the instrumental that gets you that attention that you want. You know what
I found is that I found so far in my experiences that producers are the best for that. I've met so many producers who are like, hey, I like your stuff. Let me work with you. Let me get my name out there. A lot of the producers seem to be, to me, a lot of the ones that I've dealt with are a lot more, they're a lot similar-minded like that. Where it's like, here, let me give you this and advertise me. Let me, you know what I mean? Tell people where you got this and advertise it like that, right? Which is really huge for us because, like, you know, think about anytime you do a project, you can be going up to about 500 for a low budget even. I mean, if you want to shoot a video to edit, you know how just to do a simple video, how many hours a guy's got to spend?
I've edited videos before, and I spend like, okay, it takes me at least a day to just sync everything after I've spent a day filming everything. You know what I mean? And then you have. And, like, uploading is one thing. Then you got rendering time. You know what I mean? And then after the rendering time, you got, like, the fine-tuning. So you got to go in between every stitch. And it's like, for every hour, so for every minute of footage you see, there's 7 minutes filmed. At least. So, you know what I mean? I got to go through that 7 minutes and pick the best minute for you to see. You know what I mean? So it gets tough. And
grueling.
And then there's the review process because when you think you're done, you send it to other people who have fresh eyes and they're just like, yeah, that's good, but you got to do this and that. You know what I mean?
I find that the fresh eyes thing is huge in every aspect of projects.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, like, even like earlier today, I had a buddy who was finishing up touches on a video. We were supposed to get together to do a visual, but then obviously with all the crazy stuff and we got to travel to meet each other, we just did a lyric video for now. And he sent me something, and before I even had a chance to really explain what it was that I wanted fixed, he was like, okay, I hear it now, because, you know, he's just been in the headphones for so long that you're like, oh, okay, you're right. So it's like one little listen. I didn't have to tell him what it was, and he was able to find it, because all of a sudden he was looking for something, and boom, there it is. Right?
Okay, yeah, that's dope. When like those kinds of people don't understand, like, there's so much chemistry, psychology, like, involved in this interim. It's not just, hi, let's make a track.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta.
About this earlier,
yes, man. We've met on like 3-4 different occasions. We've had 4 different interactions, and I remember like on our first or second interaction, we talked about collaborating.
Yeah.
But then it was just like, okay, but like you went your way and I went my way. Like it wasn't like there was no conflict or anything. It was just you had your thing to do and I had my thing to do. And then we
find that's like the most common thing ever.
Yes.
Right? Because every one of us, every artist ever has 100 different artists probably that. Yo, we got to do this. We got to do this. And it's like we talk. But the thing is, all of us, we have our own lives. We have our regular lives. Then you got, for me, I do the battle, and then I got the music. Then I got all these other things that I want to do, all these avenues I want to take. Right. Yeah. So it can be very hard to actually iron out those times to sit down and actually make it happen. Right.
See me, I'm heavy into the politics right now. Like for the last 11 years, I've been calling the office of the premier every week.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've established my footing in there, and I'm just like letting them know, like right now, like you need to invest more into the arts in Niagara because like we have a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I know what's happening is happening. You know what I mean? And they're directing me in the right place. I'm just like I have to speak to these people and those people, and just like so that's why I'm so on top of what's going on or trying to stay on top of what's going on with, you know what I mean, the spot in Port Colborne. You know what I mean? That place, Port Colborne, to tell you the honest truth, I've gotten some of the best responses in Poco.
Absolutely. You know what? The spot in particular, when you go to the open mics there, it's so awesome because a lot of the crowd there, we get these older guys, and I found this important for as long as I've been messing around. You know, I'd be at the Belmont back in the day, freestyling or whatever. And all the kids would be like, yo, we got to, every time there was someone new, like, here my buddy rap, here my buddy rap. And then some 40-year-old guy will walk over and say, dude, I've never listened to rap before in my life, but that was fucking awesome. And I'm sure you've heard that at the spot many times. They come up to you and they're just like, what is this? Because what they've heard about rap, and like same thing when you talk about speaking with like the premier and stuff like that, when you talk about the political aspect, there's that stigma about rap. All of a sudden they hear, wait a minute, it's not all like that. They hear us come with like, here's a passionate song that I wrote. And they're like, wait a minute, is that part of this rap thing I heard about? Do you know what I mean? When you get that compliment from that other person, it's honestly, there's nothing better, right? I would have never thought that I'd like that, and then they appreciate it. Right?
Yeah, we did a show at Camp Cataract, and like the owner was just like, he was there, he was down, and what we did was shout out to Zach Burry, by the way, and Dave Grock, you know what I mean? They're in studio right now working on a beat. You know what I mean? DK Lowly is doing some amazing things, you know what I mean? But the owner of the club, he was all for it, and we transposed our hip hop into like an acoustic, like an electric bass kind of thing where I play the drum box, Burry plays the guitar, and then Grock plays the bass. And everybody was just like so into it. I was just like, yes, okay, this is awesome.
Is that the guy with the long hair?
Yes,
okay,
yes,
cool.
yeah.
One of my favorite moments ever was the first open mic that you guys came out to. When we did the freestyle session.
Yeah.
And we had Jill on the piano.
Yes.
We had somebody on the drums.
Yes.
I think you were on the drums.
I might have been,
we
yes.
had Grok, was it?
Yeah.
On the bass.
Yeah.
And then we had Zach on the guitar.
Yeah.
And it was just and it was like, yo, I tried getting this going for so long, but until I had you two come out there, there was just that little bit more hip hop. Right?
Yes.
Before, it was like I was trying to direct it, but I'm also not so in tune with the music aspect. Like I said, the beats is a different language to me. I'm such this word guy, right? Yeah. Having you guys there, all of a sudden, it was like the first try ever with all of us together. Yeah. It was perfect. Every instrument did its part, and then we all freestyled just so casually and went back and forth. It was perfect. And it was something I've been trying to get happen at the spot, because every week, even before you guys started coming, I always did at least a little part or I throw in some beats, but typically it was just plug my phone in, play some instrumentals. Yeah. But that was super cool. That's what I've been going for. You know what I mean? That's just my favorite thing ever. It's just random. Everyone plays their thing. Oh, yes, man. Boom. Like completely improvised, and it just sounds incredible, right?
Yeah, honestly, that has been my goal for years. I said, like, when you see bands like The Roots and like even some of the EDM bands and stuff like that, where like one person on the stage can only get so much energy. Right. Like you have to be commanding on that stage. You have to grasp them by, like, you know, and grab them by the collar kind of thing. But when you have a band playing, it's like everybody is accentuated, because you don't know where to look as an audience. Right, you don't know where to look. Like, do I look at the bass who's just swinging his hair and just grooving? Right. Do I look at the guitar player who's bouncing around the stage? You know what I mean? And just jamming to the
turns pulling. Yeah. It's like, yo, at this point, this guy's really crushing it. Next thing over there, then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, the guy in the guitar's going crazy. Now, and then you're over here, right? And that's the beauty of it.
It is, and the way it all comes together, and that's the kind of stuff that I'd like to see more of. We like on a regular basis, we get together and we refine what we're doing. We jam, we come up with a song or two, and then we kind of play it back and forth a little bit. So, I mean, y'all need to come out to some more of these events. Like, it's historic what's actually going on. There's so much talent out here. Like, absolutely. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of going to Niagara Music Awards, but
I haven't yet. No.
Oh my gosh, that is something that I think, like, every artist who is serious about their craft, they should take the time to go. Like, the process is like, basically you get a song that you really stand behind, and then you can forward that in using your email address. Each email address gets one submission. Okay. And then depending on how the judges like it, you know what I mean, you could get an invitation, and if you get an invitation, you might get a discount on the ticket kind of thing. But then even outside of that, I think the tickets are like, early bird tickets are like $50. Okay. It's like $100 after that or something like that. The prices are subject to change. Yeah. These are just from last year's numbers. Right. And there was like, it was literally like the Grammys of Niagara. Yeah, that's cool. That's something I'll definitely have to be with for next year. For sure. This year's I think the process starts in July. Okay. So so from July to September they go through all this stuff and the judging stuff and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Cool. So if, like, I released my album this year hoping that it would be one of the contenders, Cheshire Black. That album, that's like my pride and joy right now. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I went in on that one.
This is one that you've released? Or?
Yeah, okay. I released that one. I released it on January 23rd. Okay. It was a project I've been talking about for a couple of years. Yeah. But I hadn't really gotten to sit down, because I'm a philanthropist to a degree. I want to see people do good, so like I'll put my projects aside to help somebody else finish theirs, and you know what I mean. And that's the kind of person I am. I get my stuff done, but it's like it takes a little bit more sometimes, because you know I like to see people in a good place. I did that, Chuck. I got some help from two producers. Stoddy P produced Body Language, and Lil Haitian Beats produced the last song on there called No Waste Time. Okay. But the rest of it is self-produced. I got a couple of beats from Anno Domini Beats. Shout outs to Anno Domini. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like half hip-hop, half reggae, all flavor. You know what I mean? It was just everything that I could think of. I gave a little bit of everything, like different, like no two songs are the same. And it's just, you know, check that out on Spotify, all streaming platforms, you know what I mean? So, yeah, what's good with you? Like, we just jumped into the conversation. Yeah, like, absolutely. Let the people know a bit about how you got started in this.
Okay, as far as starting to write, I remember being exposed, obviously, to poetry in elementary school, right? And I had a natural ability for it. Okay. You know, they taught us poems. I wrote my first poem, and it was just like, they were like, holy fuck, what is this You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so it started out with that, and then like I remember writing like a poem for my mom one time as a kid, and she just bawled her eyes out. Wrote one for my dad, he just bawled his eyes out.
Wow.
One time a kid said, "Yo, write a poem for this girl for me." Back in I think it was a grade 7, 8 or whatever, and this girl just started bawling her eyes out in front of the whole class. I just had a way with words always, right? English was always my subject.
Okay.
And then obviously one day all of a sudden I hear Eminem come through a radio, and it was like, okay, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it was just like, the moment that I heard it, I heard when I first got turned into rap, I was like, it was pretty much just something hit me where it's like, this is what I'm on the planet for.
Okay.
This is what I'm here to do. Right? And the one thing that I always consider like one of my fatal flaws was the fact that I didn't think to start pursuing it right away. I wrote my first song ever when I was in grade 7.
Okay.
And I decided to write a song. I watched a CSI episode with my parents, and I wrote a song based on that, where this kid, he's getting harassed by these kids or whatever. He ends up shooting these 2 kids in the gym at his school.
Oh, wow.
Which, consequence of that was that basically when the fax workers found this, I ended up having to get my head checked out. They're sending me for all this therapy and stuff. I kept reassuring them, like, no, this isn't my plan. I have no feelings like this. Right? This isn't me. This is a hypothetical story. It's literally based on a TV show that I saw. Right?
Wow.
So that was my first experience with writing, and I never thought to keep at it to make it like an active thing. I always just thought that's something I'm going to do when I'm older. I never thought to really start pursuing. And then when I got around grade 12, I went to a different high school for a bit. And then when I was coming back, I found out that my brother says, "Oh, one of the guys here has just started rapping." I said, "Oh, okay, I guess it's time to start."
Yeah.
So then I just went home that day. I wrote my first 2 songs, before I knew about 16-bar format.
Okay.
So my first 2 songs was just page from top to bottom, and then sometimes a little bit on the back, right? Just words
out there, man.
Zero structure. You know what I mean? The words were cool, like the concepts were cool, like I you know what I mean? But I had no concept. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone that really showed me the way. Nothing like that, right?
Okay.
So basically, I started off writing every day. Where like when I first started, I fell in love instantly, and it became that was all I did. There was one time I remember having a coffee table covered from side to side in pencil shavings, literally just driving pencils into the table. And this is when I'm writing. Keep in mind, every song I'm writing is 3 pages, top to bottom, and then sometimes a bunch on the back because I could not finish. Starting easy, writing easy, finishing I don't know how. Right?
Okay.
So it's just go. And then basically what I do is I take these completed songs, I would fold them up into like little squares like that, and I would have a stack building like that. I would squish them down, and they fit into a pocket in my backpack. And then as I got, basically every time that the pocket was about to burst, it was like, okay, I've learned more, I'm better. And then I would push them into a shoebox, and I start a new pile. Push them into a shoebox, start a new pile.
Do you still have these?
I lost the majority of them, but every now and then I'll find a folded up paper that's all yellow now.
Yeah.
From when I was, 18, 17, things like that.
Yeah.
But I also, there's some that are just always in the memory still.
Of course.
But then what I started to do was, because of how much I was growing, and especially because of how little structure I started with, there was almost no song was ever going to happen out of a lot of these things I wrote. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So basically what I started doing, as I started realizing how much better I was getting, is I would go comb through, and I would say, okay, there's 3 lines I like in here, so when I fold it back up, I would write 3 good lines, and then put it aside.
Okay.
Then I would open the next one up and say a couple good concepts that I'd be better, really good ideas that I had, that I could do a better job selling now. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So then I would, so basically, as I would keep them, I would stockpile them, and then as I'm rewriting my new set of pads now, it was like, okay, I'm going to pull that.
Okay.
Even in like some of my battles, like one time, even just recently, I had one line. I was battling in BC for the 6-year anniversary at Smoked Out.
Okay.
And I used this line that literally was on one of those old pads that would have been written. A couple good lines here, and one of them was something I can't remember exactly. The word original was, "I'm just waiting to blast off. Bitches said I had a nice butt, but then I rapped my fucking ass off." And I just used that the other day in a line, and I got all these crazy reaction quotes, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" I pulled that out of my ass back when I was 17, 18. Or even my first main event battle from years and years ago. I had a line from when I was 17. Back when I first started freestyling. Me and my buddy Alex Carson would sit on the Lidsville Bridge in Port Colborne and just all night long just come up with lines.
Okay.
I didn't have the confidence yet to string together verses.
Yeah.
So we would typically just do 2-liners. We call it the best 2-liners we could think of. We sit there and think of them. Sometimes they come fast, sometimes a little slower.
Yeah.
And one of them I had come out. It became one of my favorite lines I used in my first main event battle with like years later. It might have been like 3 or 4 years after.
Okay.
But something about. Jay Cyphers, AJ Jorritsma, how pathetic you make me sick. Coming to this battle is the worst idea than having Carlo Homolka babysit.
Oh,
room shaker, the room loves it. And it
bars.
Was like, when I started battling, I had such an advantage on these guys because I had been writing and forming these lines. And like
for
I said,
years.
I spent a while before I had the confidence to really string together and structure. Yeah. I was stockpiling. I was a two-liner guy.
Yeah.
So I had this two-line ability where I could just come up, boom, smash to the fucking
Plus
throat.
The database of all those other rhymes that you had written.
Where there was a while where I had a BlackBerry specifically for writing lines and punchlines, and I couldn't put it away. Every day, nonstop. There was no point to put it in my pocket. It was just another line, another line. Line. So then I lock in an opponent, and it's like, okay, start scrolling through. That one works. That one works. That one works. Expand. You know what I mean? That one works. That one works. That one works. Expand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I literally just came in with an arsenal.
For any of you who are just aspiring to battle rap, when it comes up, y'all need to pay attention to what he's saying. He's basically showing you how to do what needs to be done to get to the point that he's at. And that's one of the things I like about Candid Conversations, because it gives the viewers the opportunity to learn something new about someone new, and then they could either... oh, okay, that's interesting. Or they could apply it to their life, or they could change something about what they're doing. Maybe open up, have a conversation with someone they never, like, you know what I mean? That they might not have otherwise had a conversation with. And that's interesting to see that, like,
I always say the first piece of advice I give anyone, and sometimes I find myself with writer's block, and I have to remind myself the most basic lesson I've ever taught anyone, which is just start writing a fucking sentence. That's it.
Okay.
Literally, that's it. Start writing a sentence. And then when you get to the end, okay, I got to rhyme with that. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, it's as rudimentary as that. It's as simple as start with a sentence and make sure the fucking thing rhymes.
That's... pay attention. It doesn't cost much.
I remind myself of this. Sometimes I sit there like, what do you mean you got writer's block? Start writing. Say something. Write something and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I'm juggling right now. I have this thing called this TikTok channel where I do conflicts of a Jamaican Canadian conscience.
Okay.
Where I look at both sides of the coin, because I was born in Canada, but my parents are Jamaican.
Yeah.
So growing up, I always had that, like, and this is like something I could probably make a sitcom out of. I always had to decide between what circle I was in, how I was going to conduct myself. So it's just like, I have this, like, whenever I start writing, sometimes it'll start coming out in Creole or Patois.
Okay.
So, like, then I have to figure out if I'm going to rhyme in English or if I'm going to keep going in Patois. And, like, as of late, it's been all Patois. And I'm just like, but I wasn't a reggae artist to start, you know what I mean? But my dad told me something a couple weeks back when he first came down here. And, like, I got to finally show him my studio. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was just like, Barris Hammond didn't start by singing reggae. He started singing R&B, and then someone heard his voice and said, you should try this because it'll come more natural to you. And that's how he became who he was. So I'm looking at it, it's just like, okay, I've rapped for like, geez, I started producing when I was 13.
Okay.
I started writing poetry when I was 6. When I was 13, it's kind of like we have some parallels here, because like when I was in grade 8, I did this anthology of poetry.
Okay. And
I had to write a foreword, like describing what's happening in the thing.
Right.
And then my first 4 words, I like writing poetry, so I wrote a foreword instead of the proper foreword. And then after that one, I wrote 4 words, the foreword. And then he was just like the teacher, Mr. Kalish, and you know, I mean, he's one of those teachers that saw something in me when other people like were just disregarding me.
Right.
Like he kept the book and he said, he asked me if he could keep the book, and that's when I was just like, "Are you serious?"
Dude, those teachers are so important. Right?
Yes. I had another teacher like that in high school. My band conductor, Mr. Tomler, one of the greatest men on the planet, hands down. Like, you know what I mean, up there, like my second father kind of thing. Like, you know, well, actually, no, technically my third father. Okay. Because I was like, I got a collection of them. Yeah. There's a German man named Carl who helped raise me growing up with like a babysitter named Rose, God rest her soul. And then there's Mr. Tomler, who just saw something in me and kept me in the music field, and that's how I got my Performing Arts Award and all of that stuff. So like when you look at, like, I always tell people, it's like when you see someone drop, like, I remember one time my daughter, she was bored and I told her to go find something to do. And she went upstairs and she took nail polish and she threw it all over the floor. I was like, okay. I can't get upset because I told her to find something to do. That is something to do, you know what I mean? But I looked at it and I'm just like, I took a picture. I didn't get upset. I didn't, you know what I mean? I said to her, I said, you know what? You don't do that. But since you like doing that, this is where you do it. And I got her some pens and some paper. We got her some pens and some paper. And, like, she started coloring. So it's like, I use that to say to, like, those in society, it's like, when you see someone doing something that might not fit your perspective, adjust your perspective. Right. You know what I mean? Because there's a reason that it's being done. Right. And, like...
I can definitely relate and contribute to that, because I always thought to myself, I wish somebody would have, you know, especially for me, I was I had a lot of behavior issues as a kid. You know what I mean? I wish that they would have, you know, built around my interest in music. I'll never forget one day I was in this anger management course, very young kid. Yeah. And they turned off the lights and they started playing music. Yeah. And the teacher said, like, the moment this song played, I forget the song, I'll never remember the song or nothing, but I just remember this teacher saying, the moment that came on, I just saw a complete change in you. And I wish you would have explored that further. I wish you would have thought, wait a minute, something just happened in this kid, this angry kid, this problem kid. You just watched my entire body language completely change. Yep. I wish they would have looked into that further and pushed that further and found out, wait a minute, maybe we can reach this kid. Maybe we can go. And
that's where I
always think about that. Like, imagine if someone would have been like, instead of, you know, oh, this kid's not going along with the way things work, let's fucking put him in trouble, get him out of here, send him home, send him whatever. I wish that there would have been a different approach taken.
I call those kids Lennon-esque.
Okay.
It's like, because John Lennon had a similar behavioral perspective. Why should I do what you tell me to do just because you're telling me to do it?
It doesn't make sense to me.
If it doesn't make like, everybody is born innately.
Why do I want to be here? No, I don't want to do this. I want to walk around and hang out.
Exactly. Like, there's people doing things that I'm interested in. It's like, and that's what I said. Like, one of the things that I champion when I'm on the phone with these politicians and stuff, it's like, you can't, like you got to look at it from their perspective. Like, if you see someone doing graffiti, that means they're an artistic individual. Give them somewhere to express their art. Yeah. You know what I mean? Put up a slab of concrete.
Absolutely.
Let them paint on it, refresh it every couple of months or whatever, and then go forward with the next one.
Well, while you're saying that, actually, one of my next ambitions that I really want to do is I want to create basically a program all about arts for the youth. Yes. Basically expose them to every aspect of it possible, right? Yeah. I want to find a place where we can host this. Have, like, for instance, like, I would love to, you know, take part in helping kids learn how to write, as far as whether it's poetry or music. You know, bring in somebody with a guitar, any instrument, pick an instrument. You know what I mean? Like, somebody who paints, any aspect of art. I want to just have a place where anybody can, like, you know, like, let's say it's a weekly or a bi-weekly thing, where you can bring your kid and get them exposed. Because my theory on kids, especially, is expose them to everything and find out what they love. Yes. You know what I mean? Because had it been put in front of me and presented to me in a way, like, as a young kid, and I would have took into it, like, who knows where I could have been already, right? Well, so I would love to see that happen. Like, it's like present them with everything and see what happens and let them run with it.
That's what I do. I play trumpet, I play saxophone, I play piano, I play drums. Yeah. And I put the instruments, I gave my daughter the chance, I put the instruments in the room and I said, okay, which instrument do you want to learn how to play? And it's like every day she'll pick one or another one. And it's like, saxophone's a little difficult right now, but, like, she wants to learn how to play the piano and she wants to learn how to play the guitar.
I actually used to know how to play the saxophone.
Really?
I learned in music class for, like, that long.
Okay.
I was good. I was the first kid in the group to be able to flip the music over and play Mary Had a Little Lamb Off by heart.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I bet you I could get it back.
It's not hard. It's like, once you have it, all you got to do is dust it off. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, I've been practicing for the last couple of weeks, for a couple of months now, because I just, like, I put it aside because there was so much stuff happening, you know what I mean, between, like, the family life and the personal life, and then I got the business, and then, you know what I mean, there's
the story of an artist,
the story, exactly. It's like that I just recently I was nominated to do a challenge where I posted 10 pictures about my life. I posted 10 pictures about my life as an artist, and I just, after looking at each picture, I'm just like, wow, like,
I've really been doing this.
I've been doing some stuff. I'm like, I don't have 10 pictures, and then I go through it, and it's like, damn, I do. Like, I think I've done like 5-6 performances since the year started.
Nice.
Yeah, and, like, I always like getting out there and just showing people, like, hey, there's more to life than the negative that has you down.
Of course, and that's the power of music.
Yes.
Right? That's the power that music has. any person in this world has a song that pulled them out of their darkest moment. You know what I mean? Everybody's got that artist they can listen to that makes everything fucking better. Do you know what I mean? Where they can just listen to that person and be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, for me, I was like, I tell people, it's like, yo, if I'm on a tangent, you gotta play some Bob Marley. You know what I mean? If you play some Bob Marley and something about it or some reggae, you just.
One of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh my gosh!
Every time I hear it, it's just like this is music. This is what I want.
I like that one. Stir It Up for me. That's the one because it covers every frequency.
Yeah.
And they say that's the best song to play. One of the best songs to play to check your sound system.
Okay.
Because you hear the.
Okay.
And it starts, and then it just, you know what I mean? It just...
That's so cool. The fact that that's just common knowledge
yes.
out there, that this is the song for checking your equipment. That's so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
The fact that there's that many people who listen and admire the music on a level that they've picked that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that it's not just one guy, that it's, you know what I mean? It's a well-known thing that this is
yeah,
where you go.
Yeah,
That's so cool, right? That
that
many people care about it enough to know that.
That one and Nora Jones with Andre 3000.
Okay.
That one. That's that's a song, bro. I don't even know. I just got to chill talking about the song. You know what I mean? But like, it's one of those. I can't remember the name of it. Take off your cool. I think that's what it's called.
Okay, I'll have to look into it.
And it's so soulful. Like they sing so melodiously together. It's just like it's Three Stacks again in a state where you never see him. Like he's always been. And I say this with the utmost of respect because I never know who's watching these podcasts. He's always been the oddball of the music industry because he's like, even back when he had those fluffy pants and the football tackle gear and stuff like that.
The song alone is enough for him to be that guy.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that song was polarizing, and I've always looked at him like, well, he can just. That's where I get my seasonal stuff from. Like every holiday. Like, I usually adorn something relative to the holiday.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who have their perspectives on what the holiday should be and represent and all that stuff, and corporate this and capitalism that, but I'm just down for the fundamental psychology of it. Right. Like, let suspend your disbelief for a minute and just look at something other than the crap that is, you know, being shoveled on us.
Absolutely.
So, that's why that hat right there.
I seen that.
That's how that hat made it out. I have a St. Patrick's Day top hat. You know what I mean? Coming up, I'm gonna have my bunny ears. You know what I mean? And then just people respond to it. So I use it as a marketing tool. It's like I've had like elderly people walk up to me, like literally hop up to me and be like, "You're doing it all wrong." I said, "Pardon me." She's like, "Where's your basket?" I'm like, okay, you're gonna play along because it's hit or miss with me. It's hit or miss above 50, 60. It's hit or miss, especially out here because I never know how. Some people look at me like, look at that Looney Tune.
Yeah.
What the? I went into one bar. I'm not even gonna mention the bar because I don't want anybody to feel a ways. Yeah. I went into one bar and this guy's like, "Wow, you're black."
Oh shit! It's like that.
And I'm like. Well, I'll be. You're right.
Holy shit!
You know what I mean?
Get freaked out. What the fuck?
If I had thought about it long enough, I would have. But like, I was just like, "You're right."
Yeah.
And then just walked away.
I wonder what that would have been like with the bunny hair.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I'm telling you.
Well, it's just like, you know, I've noticed like if you got a dog with you, people will automatically treat you differently if you're a dog person. Do you know what I mean? If I'm walking with an adorable dog, I instantly become approachable. Whereas, you know, I sometimes wonder, I'm not a huge man, but I'm a pretty large guy. I wonder when I'm walking down the street, I always feel kind of like, oh, I hope this person feels comfortable knowing that I'm okay. Like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm going to walk by you and I'm going to be courteous.
Yeah, because you do
have
a...
away for you and I'm not going to be a problem.
You're a sizable dude. You're at least 6 foot, no?
Yeah. I'm 6 even, 6
feet, okay, yeah, because, like, I don't, like, we look about the same, like, I'm only 6'3", but, like, that's the thing. I'm like 285. You know what I mean? So like I'm just big. Like it was funny because my dad told me always growing up like he prayed for big children. Like so I'm just like, okay, my sister's 6 foot. My other sister's like 5'11", 5'10".
Yeah.
Like we're all big. So there's a couple of years ago we were sitting at a barbecue and we all kind of my dad's sitting at the head of the circle and then we're all sitting around him shucking corn and stuff like that. And one of my uncles walked up and said, "Scotty, you must feel safe." They're like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Come on out of your big picnic them surround yourself." Just like, I'm like, yeah. I even made a joke with my grandma before she passed away. Like, I said to her, I said, you know what, we were talking, and she was giving me the I'm gonna go soon talk, and I'm just like, you know what, don't worry about it. When God calls you, He calls you. You know what I mean? And then I said to her, I said, don't worry about it though, because you have enough big grandchildren to carry your coffin. And I ended up being one of her pallbearers. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, those kinds of things are just like, you gotta be mindful of what you're speaking to reality, because it happens a lot of the time, especially if you focus on it. Like, a lot of people are focused on the negative. I don't want this to happen. Whenever my daughter says something like, oh, I don't want to do that, then what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Focus on what you want to do.
So that's something I've been trying to do a lot of, me changing, like it's like that quick little change of words. Instead of, I don't want this is what I want. It's a big difference.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Even just in your personal mentality. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that there's this end-all, be-all force that if I say, hey, I want this enough times, it's going to come to me. Do you know what I mean? But
I'm like, yo, I'm telling you the honest truth. Like, there's a lot of people who don't believe in God. There's a lot of people who just believe in whatever gets you through the day. You know what I mean? That's whatever gets you through the day. You know what I mean? But just as long as you're not causing harm to somebody, that's where I don't care what you look like, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like, I've done videos with people in their bathrobes and just, you know what I mean? Like, just looked at it just like, okay, that's your style right now.
A good bathrobe.
Yo, bathrobes are underrated.
They're the shit. Dude.
They're so comfortable.
I don't know why I don't own one right now.
I own 3.
I need to. And I tell myself all the time, but I'm the worst for forgetting to do things.
Oh, man, you got to treat yourself. That should be your next treat, bro. You need a bathrobe.
I remember the last one I had, I was so comfy in it. I was like, yeah, this is my life here. You know? That's how you want to be.
Yeah, man. I'm telling. It's
if you don't have to have clothes on, you might as well be wearing one of those.
Exactly. Straight up. Like, by the way, shout out to Ezra. Check out the cop shop video. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, he showed up one day and he was just bathrobed up. I'm like, you doing this? He's like, yeah, bro. I'm like, all right, cool.
I'm pissed that he got to it before me.
Make a track called Bathrobes. Beers and bathrobes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
shower
man.
Beers and bath coats.
Oh, man. That's dope.
I just got into the shower beers recently again. Like I said, I remember having a shower beer when I was younger, but then I was like, recently, I started having shower beers. Like, I think it was because like I was working long, and then I was like, I got to go places where it's like, oh, we're going out, especially summertime.
Yeah.
To get off work, it's like I gotta go. It's like, but I'm trying to, get the beers into me. I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. The shower beers are crucial for happiness.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had a shower. I've hotbox, like I've turned on the shower and hotbox a blunt in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like the Jamaican hotbox, but like, I haven't really. I might, like, I'll have a tea or something. I'm not gonna lie. I'll sip on my tea.
Actually, I gotta tell you too. Honestly, probably better than a shower beer is a shower coffee. You got a hot shower and a hot coffee at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, especially morning time. Dude, it's like, that's pampering, bro.
It's okay.
Right when you give yourself that time.
And people don't even realize. Like, I ask people all the time, and I'm gonna ask you right now. When was the last time you took a minute for yourself?
It depends, really. You know what I mean? I guess I don't know, at the top of my head. I tend to do a lot more of that in the summer, I think, right?
Okay.
Because in the summer, like, I find, like, water is my healing, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Sometimes, especially nighttime, I'll go to the quarry and I'll just go float with my eyes up to the stars, and, like, that's my find peace moment, you know what I mean?
Oh,
or
that's
especially growing up, when I was still, a little bit psychotic before I got my mind in the level of control I have now, I used to climb up the Clarence Street Bridge in Port and go jump off the roof. And just that whatever many seconds flying through the air, something about it just centered me and brought me back, right?
Wow, okay.
So a lot of my moments like that, I gotta find one for like winter time and stuff like that. But yeah, like in summer, I always do those.
Okay,
so let me go float, let me go be in water, let me go jump off a bridge and get my adrenaline pumping for a minute, And I tend to do that a lot, like in the summer especially, right?
Okay.
But I can't remember the last time recently, but yeah, no, I definitely try to do those kind of things,
Okay. This is the time in the show that I find sometimes challenging because, but it's always fun to see what other people think quite where it comes to questions. So I call this flipping the script, where I give you the opportunity to ask me questions to see, like, any question that you want to, get to know me better, to understand how or why I'm doing what I'm doing. So.
All right. First one, I would like to know, who would be if you got to work, we got to pick one artist to work with. Could be alive, could be dead. Who would be the one artist and why?
Oof.
The ultimate.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle. The artist.
Pinnacle. That's
you never got to work with another artist again. You had one person.
I never even, I don't think I've put that much, dead or alive. Jeez. That's a hard one for me, fam, because like so many people, like I'm gonna say right now, like currently, because he was the last one I just mentioned, I'm gonna say like Andre 3000.
Okay.
If I could do like a reggae funk kind of track with him, that would be my. If I did nothing else in the music industry, that would be my crowning achievement. You know what I mean? And I know he's on a level where. Like, he's on a next level, but now that I said that, I put it into the universe, I put it on camera, you know what I mean?
Andre, when you get a chance, hit my boy up.
You know what I mean? Like, when you...
He just picked you over everyone.
When your schedule clears up, you know what I mean? Let me know. Like, I'm just out here doing my thing. You know what I mean? Just out here doing my thing. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Okay, what would you... a message you would deliver to your 16-year-old self about life, music, and so on.
A message.
What would be the most important thing for you to say to 16-year-old Tyrell?
Oh man, I'd have to be like, yo, you got to understand this. Like, and I just heard this from Sean Paul not too long ago. Life is like a wave. So there's gonna be times where you're up and you could see the horizon, and there's gonna be times where you're down and surrounded by walls of water. When you're up, remember to enjoy it and like embrace it. But when you're down, don't dwell on it, because you will be up again. And if I could have told myself that, I would have looked at a lot of the things that have happened differently. Okay. Because like there's just, I mean, I had such a not based on my parental upbringing or anything like that, but like outside of the parental structure, I had like a topsy-turvy kind of upbringing, because I was a nerd, like by my level of intellect. Yeah. But I was a jock by my size and stature. Okay. So, like, I wasn't received well by the nerds because I was intimidated. You know what I mean? And I wasn't received well by the jocks because I was such a geek.
Mocking you for playing with the magic cards. The magic kids are scared to show their cards to you because they think you want to rip them off.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So, you know what I mean? I always bounce between, like, we had this thing called the Danger Room in high school. So I'd be in there.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It was fun. Like, we had a computer in there and we'd play different games and we'd all gather for, like, the hour of lunch. And that's where, like, the misfits would all be. So, like, you know what I mean? That kind of grounded me a bit. Okay. But then, like, I was always like, this didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. Right. Boo, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or I never, you know what I mean? And I didn't.
If only this, if only that,
yes,
right? The what ifs killed me.
Yes. So, you know what I mean? That's what I'd say to my younger self. Okay. That's a good question. All right. Yeah, man.
Okay, what would you consider the ultimate achievement for you as an artist? If there was one thing that you would say, okay, this is it, this is the highest level of achievement I could foresee. I've done this. This is exactly what I've wanted. I've done this. You know what I mean? Is there one big thing that you could see to say, like, wow, I feel like I've achieved something that's monumental?
I think, actually, and this might surprise a lot of people, I think finding that balance between my familial life, my personal life, my artist life, it has been my crowning achievement, because there was a point in time where I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then there was a point in time where I had too much to do. Yeah. But now I'm at the point, you know what I mean? Like, and usually I've seen you all over the place, you know what I mean? So you know what I'm talking about. So, to know that I can spend time with, like, okay, today, for example, like, I knew I was having you come over. Burry was a prospect to come over. Breadman was a prospect to come over. So I was just like, okay, I have to allocate my time. I was tired from last night. Right. I got up because I was up till 12, right? And then I was just like, okay. So then I promised my daughter I'd spend time with her. I always spend time with my wife. Spend time with my wife through the day to, connect and make sure I know what I'm doing. She knows what I'm doing, and, like, we're on the same page. Right. And then I came down here. I started setting everything up and working around it, just in waiting for everything. And if I didn't have the support system, like them as a support system, like, I don't even know what I'd be doing. Yeah, it's very crucial, because, like, and there's times where I have to take time away from the family to do the art, you know what I mean? But then there's times where, like, I love having an event at Taps Brew House, because I can bring my family out with me, you know what I mean? Camp Cataract, I think we can bring the family out to there. vegan hippie chick. We can bring the family out to there, but there's some places.
I'll be introducing something this summer that's going to be like orchestrated specifically for being able to bring family and bring youth out.
Yes.
Which is like basically I'm going to call it on the spot pop-up cipher. Whether it's every week, depending on popularity, whether it's every week or every other week or maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Hopefully at least every other week.
Yeah.
I want to do basically what we do, the open mic now,
yeah.
but out in the middle of somewhere outside, pick a park, pick a place, pick a somewhere, different spot all the time, and then just come together and make music.
Live stream that shit. Yeah, I like that. Give them some time. Be like, we're here.
I don't know if you ever seen, when I was out in BC, I met a kid named Sam Chimes. Who, I shouldn't say kid, he's a man around our age. But I met this guy Sam Chimes randomly one day. This guy just make beats random spot with a looping station in the subways and whatnot, and busking and whatnot. Me, him, and this other guy Adrian all linked up, and it just became a team like that. Where next thing you know, every Saturday we're doing these live freestyle ciphers. So this guy makes a beat right there on the spot, and then all three of us can rap.
That's
and
dope.
then I would kind of MC the thing. We'd invite anyone on the street. One time we had this 60-year-old woman come up in a house coat. And she's like, I'm trying to find the rhythm and the and she just give it a go. See what happens, right? Another time this guy pulls up in an electric wheelchair, and I'm like, you got a verse? He's like, yeah. I give him the mic, and this guy spit this crazy, deep, intellectual verse. It was so cool.
Wow.
Another time I had this girl come up. This is my favorite one. I seen this girl. Never met her before in my life. She was She was a friend of my friend Lindsay's, who's like, she's out there constantly working in Vancouver, doing the music scene and pushing the scene. They show up. This girl starts freestyling a hook. We just made a beat randomly. I think she had this hook written. She might have had this hook in her head. So she performs this hook. We have two microphones. She performs this hook. I freestyle a 16. She performs this hook. I freestyle a 16. Hook 16. I literally improvised and performed an entire song. It sounded like a rehearsed, well done song.
That's dope.
On the streets of Vancouver, they shut down Granville at 10 o'clock at night to all car traffic. Okay. At any given time, we got 100 people all crowded around listening.
We need to make that happen in Welland.
Out of nowhere with this random girl.
We need to make that happen in Welland.
Canal Terrace.
Canal Terrace. Or the pavilion.
The aqueduct.
Yeah. Right? The Illuminaqua. Yeah, the Illuminaqua stage. They have a little plug down there.
Once the weather is nice, bro.
Off camera,
I'd love to have you on team for that.
I'm on board there right now. I have a PA system.
That's what I love about these open mics. These open mics are showing me, okay, these are the people to be in touch with. These are the people that will make this happen.
Because those are the people that go out to those have the chops. They want to develop themselves. They want to do something more.
There's nothing better than doing it with other people that love it.
Exactly.
There's nothing better about this music and about these communities is the fact that it's a community. It's not just music. There's a community for every aspect of it. The fact that I can battle in fucking almost every province in this country is crazy. The fact that I have friends in almost every province now just from traveling around and meeting people that love the same thing. That's crazy. You know what I mean? I was just playing online pool earlier today with my buddy from BC who I smoked. I smoked this 3-0.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, it's like on any given day, I'm talking to my buddy from BC, my buddy from Scotia, my buddy from Alberta, you know? And it's amazing. There's nothing cooler than the fact that it brings us all together.
Bro, you know? I'm telling you, I'm working with people in Nigeria, Gambia right now. It's just
with the internet now, too, right? With the internet, it's poof.
Yeah, this man reached, randomly, and he's so respectful, reached out to me. He's like, oh, have you heard my song? Like, I have some songs. He didn't ask you for a donation. No, he didn't ask me for a donation. He just asked me, he wants me to get, he sent me this song. Yeah. It's called Holy Matrimony. I was going to drop a verse on it, but then he said he wanted to get a female on it. So I'm just like, okay, that's fine. Because, it'll sound better, being the topic of the song, it'd sound better if it had a female on it.
Well, if he's talking holy matrimony, we're talking marriage?
Yeah. No, marriage to the game.
Oh, okay, marriage to the game. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it's a marriage, I'm not going to do a feature with somebody talking about marriage.
No, I can't.
do a verse for my wife, he does one for his.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's you gotta kind of, we gotta flip the script a little bit. But
marriage to the game, sure.
Yeah. So I got, I reached out to somebody to get her input on it. I'm gonna wait till I hear back from her before I said, I reached out to two people. Yeah. A new artist that, I just came across a couple weeks ago. And then an artist that I've worked with, and I know, I told you before, she's that bitch on the mic. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, because I don't want any political interference, I'm just going to allow that and say, yeah, man, so it's going to be live still.
One thing I want to say, too, for sure, one of my main things, like I said, one of my favorite parts is the community aspect, right? Working with people and you know, I mean, the community aspect, and I want to work with as many artists as possible, right?
Okay.
But one of my main things is for anybody watching, whether you're an artist or you know somebody who's an artist, is I would love to give people the opportunity to get their feet wet. If you've been wanting to write forever and you haven't done it yet, like I spent so long wanting this but never pursuing it, I would love to help somebody fast forward. You know what I mean? Let me get you past all the bullshit. Like when I sat around waiting, let me get you past that. You know what I mean? Let me show you what I can show you. Let me save you the fucking the work that I put in to have to learn on my own. I would love to help out in any aspect like that.
I'm here for the same thing. That's why we expose. That's why, you know what I mean, Expose the North is all about working with people to work with people and getting this work together. Like, you know what I mean? We got so much potential if we can come together and just say, hey, like between this sports idea with chat like interregional sports kind of thing, and then the barbecues that are bound to happen this summer. You know what I mean? Like there's so much we can make happen if we just set aside our differences. And like I have this one shirt, I got to get you to sign it. I'm not sure if you signed it yet.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I have a shirt.
Maybe if it was at that event. If you wanted the event, maybe, but
no, I usually bring it, like I keep it in a Ziploc bag. It's like I'm preserving the integrity of the capacity for the region to work together. So that's why I have.
Okay, I like that a lot.
I have this thing where a lot of people's signatures are on it.
Yeah.
And I want to use it to say, look, this one thing has us all together. Let's have a parlay, one event. Where we all
same cloth.
One event, exactly. You see it. Let's have one event, a festival where everybody that's signed comes through and plays their spot. If you don't like Group A, we'll put you at the end of Group B. But I want you to participate in this. So that we can say that we did it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my main things too is like, I used to be a hot-headed idiot. You know what I mean? Like I used to fight all the time. That's how I dealt with my shit before I found better ways to do so. Right? And like, especially now looking back, it's like I feel foolish all this time I wasted being a hotheaded shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I get that a lot of people are still hot-headed, and I still am in some ways myself.
Oh yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like I'm never gonna be like, oh, let's like you're doing an event, we're bringing the kid together. I don't give a fuck who I see, what problems we've had in the past. It's not a problem tonight.
Yeah,
it's not a problem today. And I tell people that all the time because especially for me in battles, as long as I have battles to go back, it's small towns, right?
Yeah.
I got friends. A lot of the people don't get along. I have to tell them, I know you hate him, I know you hate him, but you guys are both coming to support me, and you're gonna fucking just ignore each other. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line.
That's exactly
you're coming to support me. I expect you both to be there. You're not going to back out because you don't like this guy, and vice versa. You're not going to back out because you don't like this guy.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be a mention of problems. You guys can fight later. You can fight tomorrow. Go ahead, do your thing, but keep it separate. Right? It's not that hard to not be a fucking meathead.
No, it's not. I mean? It really isn't.
It's very simple to just put the music first and just vibe and chill.
You said it. You said it right there. Put the music first.
Yeah, it takes nothing to just enjoy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, people like, I used to be confrontative. If I didn't like someone and I saw them, I was calling them on it. I got countless people I don't fucking like. And I hear them. I hear what they say about me. You know what I do when I see them? Hey, sir, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
If you're saying stuff behind my back, that's none of my goddamn business. No. It has nothing to do with me. No. I'm just gonna keep being my best self, and I'm not gonna get affected by this. You know.
This man is a very talented individual and well educated in the means of how to conduct himself.
I can't live like that.
Your character is impeccable, sir. Your character is impeccable. No, I'm telling you, man. No problem. Much appreciation. All right, so this has been Candid Conversations. Anything else you want to say? Let them know where they can get at you.
Yeah, well, I'm on Facebook as AJ Jorritsma. Hit me up on Snapchat as AJ.rap. I plan on doing a lot more. Actually, it's AJ Raps with an S. I plan on doing a lot of... I'm horrible for keeping up with social media and doing my own phone thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to, especially because I do so much traveling, I want to start making the Snapchat. Right now, it's kind of just chilling. But as I start getting, once this thing's over and we start doing a lot of movement, I'll be doing a lot of streaming on that. Yeah. A lot of interaction on that. Okay. I'll be also setting up like a website very soon, doing a merchandise thing very soon. As well as some actual social media more designated towards the music and what's going on with that. But as of right now, yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of music's going to be coming out. All that I'll be releasing and sharing through Facebook, and obviously, all the major streaming platforms. Yeah, all that. And I'll keep people posted on that.
All right, IG
right now it's just AJ Jorritsma as well. But like I said, as far as the IG, definitely I'll start a new one specifically for the Facebook. I've already got such a huge community that I probably won't change it. Yeah, I'll have a website with a link. I'll have like a link, or maybe I might one day go look towards a official page. Also, Twitter. I know I got to break into Twitter. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but
I'd say more Instagram than Twitter. Twitter's good for like the like the politicking kind of thing.
Yeah, Twitter's good for getting a hold of somebody that you might not have before.
Yeah,
right? That's what it kind of seemed like for me from the outside looking in. But
Instagram is more like the media site, the media page. Yeah, I gotta get better with it. I like using Instagram because when I use Instagram, it automatically goes to Facebook.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Facebook and then having to put it on Instagram.
Right.
So like,
see, I tend to forget that I have Instagram, right? But one of the main things I'm gonna be doing, because like right now, it's like I've got a little arsenal slowly building up of music, right? And I'm working on, because like I've been practicing quietly.
Yeah.
Where it's like my thing is that I'm very particular about my work, and I have so much that I want to say, but where I need the most work is adapting to beats, flowing properly, making sure that I'm clean and polished in the studio. I want to make sure that my skill inside the studio matches my skill that I'm writing with.
Okay.
And I want to make, like right now I'm doing some collaborations and I'm getting more polished. But as far as like my actual personal work, I'm just kind of holding off until I'm like, okay, it's there. I feel confident enough. I'm ready right now where this is on par with what I'm trying to say.
That's the best
production and the finished product matches the quality of my content and my intent behind it.
Yeah.
Then I'll definitely go through with that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm going to be starting a couple different series. One of them being the Perspective series. So as opposed to an album, basically the idea of doing the series is like, there's no crunch time of, I need these 12 tracks done now. Ideally, what I'd like to do is I'm going to start with 2 for each project. The perspectives, every song I'll be writing from someone else's perspective.
Okay.
Whether a real life person, maybe a fictional character, or just like an occupation. The perspective of a cop, perspective of a soldier, perspective of a teacher, whatever it may be.
And you're clearly
stepping
good at
outside of myself
to
express someone else's story who maybe wouldn't be told otherwise, right? And another one will be To Whom It May Concern, which is me writing letters, maybe like, addressing someone that deserves an apology, maybe someone that deserves a diss. Maybe like Prime Minister, maybe whoever. Somebody
dope.
That
That's a dope concept. So,
that'll be all about talking to somebody. For example, one of the ones I'm most excited about, why I asked you the question.
Yeah.
What I would say to the 16-year-old version of me, right? That's one of the ones I want to do is writing a letter to myself, right?
Okay.
So I'll be coming up with a bunch of those, and then we're going to be working towards some albums and whatnot. So there's a whole bunch that's going to be coming.
Y'all stay tuned. We're going to have them on. Like I said, you're more than welcome here anytime you come through. Keep me up to date with what's going on with your albums and your work, etc. We got some people waiting for us in the studio right now. So we're going to make some music. But, yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in to Candid Conversations, episode 41. 11 more episodes, and it's our year anniversary. So I don't know what we're going to do, but, like, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, man, why not?
Beautiful. Thanks for having me out, brother.
No problem. Thanks for coming through. All right, let's up. We out.
I keep thinking I'm hearing "Breakaway" by Kelly Clarkson playing over there.
Yeah. Oh man. There you go. Boom.